Welcome to NFL World, where NFL starts and ends. I'm your host, Jacob. And as we record this, the NFL trade deadline is going down right now. We'll have a video for that tomorrow, along with our predictions video, which will also be recorded tomorrow and hopefully air. But let's begin with the recap of week number 9 in the NFL. The first game we had is the Baltimore Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins. This was Thursday Night Football. The game was 28-6. So let's quickly let me move this. Let's quickly figure out what happened. The Ravens. Look, I don't know how good the Ravens are, to be honest with you. I know they got Lamar Jackson back, scored 28 points, and that's exciting. And they've won 2 games in a row. That's also very exciting. But if you look at this Ravens schedule and actually look at it, don't glance at it, don't actually pay attention to it. You see, all their tough games were in the first month of the season and month and a half of the season. After that, it kind of eases up. They played Houston, which everyone thought, okay, in the beginning of the year that would be a tough matchup, and then Houston was not that good, and then Houston just steamrolls them. But they have not played great, and Miami's not very good. They just fired Chris Greer. They did that on Friday morning. That tells you what they think of this team at this point. They're blowing it up. They traded Jalen Phillips to the Philadelphia Eagles. There's talk about them trading Minkah Fitzpatrick or Bradley Chubb and possibly both of them. That's a lot. You're blowing this thing up and starting over. I wouldn't be surprised if Mike McDaniel's done after this year. I would not be. I'm looking at this team and the Dolphins, and I just don't see them being inspired. Their defense is terrible. Their offense is not great. They're making mistakes on certain things that you shouldn't be making mistakes on. Like, I don't understand this. They are so bad. They can't rush the passer, really. I mean, besides what Phillips was able to do, what Chubb has been able to do, they really can't rush the passer. They can't stop the run consistently. They've been just destroyed by injuries in their secondary. It's a nightmare. It's just a nightmare. And that's what's going on with this team. They're not good enough. And I will say a very similar thing when we get to good enough offense. We'll get into that a little later on. But the Ravens needed this win. They got back into it. I believe they're second in their division, only behind the Pittsburgh Steelers, who won an unbelievable game against the Colts. But it's surprising to think that they're even anywhere close to the top of their division due to how poorly they've played through the first month and a half. Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions. The Vikings winning this game 27-24 in a game where J.J. McCarthy played for the first time in, I believe, 5 weeks. It was not a great performance by the Lions. They are riddled with injuries. They're trying to play. They are doing enough, but offensively they didn't have great showing. The offense was kind of and the Vikings with ball is made to fit the quarterback because J.J. McCarthy comes in after missing over a month and for no reason that we understand, like an ankle injury. No, this was not an ankle injury. We've seen only 2 great quarters of football from you. Yeah, we've seen enough. Let's go sit over there. We'll throw this guy out there who is just getting destroyed in the backfield because we can't do anything. And the Lions, the last couple weeks, and then they get into this Minnesota game, and they didn't look good. The offense doesn't look great, but you gotta hope that they're gonna get some healthy guys back and try to play more physical. But right now, they're just so injured in their secondary, it makes no sense. But great win for the Vikings. They get back on track. They need on to the Falcons and Patriots. The Patriots winning this game 24-23. The Falcons made a great comeback late in the fourth quarter. They missed the extra point. They waived their kicker. They signed Zane Gonzalez today after a Monday workout. And Zane Gonzalez has been good as a kicker. Was in Washington last year. Actually helped the Commanders get to the divisional round against the Lions after doinking an extra point or a field goal in to win the game. To watch them sometimes. They came back. So they showed that they could come back into a game and play well. The Patriots, they had a bad time fumble. But I will say this for certainty. I'm going to say this. When you are a good team, some good things, some lucky things are going to happen for you. And that's what's going on. You won this game by 1 point. Whether we despise it or not, they won point. When you have a good goes back to the faith they have in their team. The addition of Mike Vrabel, the addition of bringing some players from Tennessee, some players like Carlton Davis from the Detroit Lions, doing these things that have the faith, they've seen it work, and adding that faith, that's what they're doing. They did a lot of positive things. Move the ball well, be efficient, don't really try to turn the ball over. And if they do, our defense is going to get a stop. Or a special team is going to make a play. Or something. That's what this team did. It's a great showing by the Patriots. Again, it goes all the way back to Mike Vrabel. Hiring a coach who has the resume to build a great winning organization. Belichick, his last few years was not good as a coach. I don't think it's because his concepts were bad. I think he thought he didn't say this. I think, and this opinion, I have no way to verify. Belichick looked at it and said, "I don't need Tom Brady. I have Josh McDaniels. We'll be okay." And they brought in Cam Newton. They had Mac Jones. It didn't work. It just didn't work. And then McDaniels leaves, takes the Raiders job, and again, more selfishness came in and said, I don't need Josh McDaniels. I don't need Tom Brady. I don't need these guys. I can win anybody, so I'm going to name my as the coordinators. I'm not going to bring in a coordinator. And then it became, well, I don't need this, or I don't need that coordinator. I have my friends that can do it. That doesn't. Bill O'Brien back, and I don't need Josh. And it just kept going on and on and on. And then they Belichick leaves. I think that was more of a, we're following you, but we want you to save face, and this is what we're going to do. And then the thing they do, Gerard Mayo, and they brought in a new system, a whole new thing, thinking that would work, and it didn't work. Then you bring in Mike Vrabel, a guy who knows what he's doing, a guy who knows what exactly he's supposed to do, and boom, it fixes. Josh McDaniels bring back all the people, and it worked out. It worked. It all worked. I'm not trying to be inaccurate, but it worked. They brought back all these people. They had a little shaky start, but then they got it ironed out and they started winning bowl games. Buffalo, and then they got things moving forward. That's the point. Move forward. Always keep trying to go forward. Always get better and move forward. There's always something. That's the difference. if you can always get better at something, go get better at something. That's what they do. They live by that motto. They die by that motto. Go improve on something. That's what they do. That is how they win. And that's what they keep on doing. It's not that complicated. It really isn't. But that's why you get your coaching done. You get your head coach in. Let him build your staff and let's roll. They did. It's a great job by them. Can't say anything else about it. Great win by the Patriots. Even though it was that close. You had the faith. You made it work. You won. Go for it. Moving on to the Chiefs at the Bills. Bills winning this game 28-21. But like I said, if your team has a chance to go win, go win. Do what you got to do. The Chiefs and the Bills, they've been going at it the last few years. They've been good. They've been good. The Chiefs have dialed back into some stuff. They've been doing what they need to do, and they just keep doing it. They just keep performing. The Bills do the same thing. Keep performing. Keep fighting. They played this game, and the Bills' defense, which has been bad in recent weeks, this game, they were great. They rushed the passer well. Mahomes had 50% completion percentage. He had under 50%. That's impressive. You got after him. They made it work. They didn't win the game by a lot, but they didn't ask Josh Allen to do everything. Those are important things. You haven't beaten them in the playoffs, but you've beaten them in the regular season. Progress. But the way you played defensively was progress. Just find a way to do it in the playoffs and not just in the regular season. Moving on. Or actually, before we move on, let's talk about the Chiefs. Like I said, Mahomes, 50% completion percentage. That cannot happen. That cannot happen. I mean, at some point, you do have to make a plan on how to win games and not just depend on Mahomes to win. Your tackles can't block. Your offensive line didn't play well. Which, what did we tell you? This offensive line was going to be a work in progress. You trade away your best left guard that you had, probably one of your best offensive linemen you had. You moving a left tackle into left guard, then you drafted a left tackle who hasn't played a lot, or didn't play his last year in college because he tore his patella tendon in his knee. So he was trying to get back and trying to make this work, and he's been pretty good, but this game they weren't very good. If you want the Bills to actually have a chance to win games, this is the way they have to play. But if you want the Chiefs to win, you can't always make Patrick Mahomes win it for you. You have to find a better system than that. And that's all I can say about the Chiefs at this point in time. Moving on to the Monday Night Football game between the Cardinals and the Cowboys. The Cardinals winning the game 27-17. This snaps a 5-game losing streak by the Cardinals. They were terrible in fourth quarters, and they were not great in this fourth quarter of the game, but they didn't need to be. Jacoby Brissett looked like he was prime Joe Montana out there. He got pressured a little bit, but he was able to evade and make some stuff happen, and they won the game. Marvin Harrison Jr. had 7 catches and a touchdown. He had like about 95 yards, 96 yards. Trey McBride was playing well. Their defense made some really big stops when they needed it. Calais Campbell played well in the interior. He shows that he still got it even at age 39. Josh Sweat played really well. He had 2 sacks. Like, they were good. But and only really at the end of the game did Dallas make it closer. The game wasn't even this close. The Cardinals, I think, they just can't score more than 27 in games. They just really have a hard time. with that, other than that, they've been really good. Their offense has been really good. And Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were saying, like, how do you remove Jacoby Brissett as the starter right now? You can't. Even when Kyler's healthy, you can't do it because he's played so great for them in the last 3 games, which is true. But is that more because of how great Jacoby has played or how bad this Cowboy defense is? But before we get to this defense, I have to get to this offense of the Cowboys. Holy, like, my goodness, this was bad. 3 quarters, they were awful. They turned the ball over 4 times. They fumbled 3 times. Should have been 4 times. They recovered a fumble because they had to. They had 4 drop passes. They had a lot of quarterback got hit a lot. They were 1 for 3 inside the 5-yard line for touchdowns. They turned it over on downs. Like, they were bad. And you can say, well, the game would have been closer if they had kicked the field goals and didn't go for it on 4th down. I get that. But your team has been so bad defensively that offensively you have to be more aggressive. Now, the play calling was bad. I think anyone could admit that. You ran a comeback route on a 4th down play. It was like 4th and 5. And the comeback route is like 15 yards. And not only can you not hit the comeback route, which was open, by the way, the ball took forever to get there. It was such a bad game. You had 4 drop passes. You fumbled the ball. You couldn't do things. You made it so hard on yourself. I know Dak Prescott didn't play well. I got that. You couldn't really run the ball great. It was better than when you played Denver. This Cowboy offense, they were bad inside the 5. The quarterback took too many sacks. The offensive line was bad, which happens when you had a new center in who has missed 5 games. You had a guard that missed like 3 games. You've had so many injuries that of course they're bad. They haven't played a lot, but they can't stop you. Terrence Steele is becoming a turnstile over there. And when he's at right tackle, they can't do anything. Did you know what happened? They're inside the 5-yard line. On a 1st and goal on the first drive, Tyler Guyton on 4th and goal gets bull rushed and falls over. And that's how the sack happened, so Dallas doesn't score on the first drive. Later in the game, it was a 4th and goal, and Terrence Steele gets beat, and it gets a sack. That's what's happening. They can't do anything. And because they're trying to put 5 guys out there to run a route, they're not really trying to chip. So their tackles are on an island all by themselves, and they can't do anything. It's bad. It got to the point they put Nathan Thomas out there. They were so fed up with Terrence Steele. He's not injured. They just didn't want to play him. They were so fed up. It didn't matter. They still couldn't stop the Cardinals. They could not stop them. Like, Dak threw a touchdown. They couldn't score points. Their defense, at one point in the first half, not even in the game, the first half was on 3rd down. They let the Cardinals convert 7 of 9 third downs in the first half. That's how bad they are. They can't stop you on 3rd down. They got past us. They had 5 sacks. They didn't do anything well. And if you're this Cowboys team, you're 3-5-1 now. You can't play coverage because you got beat by Marvin Harrison Jr., Trey McBride, your best cover corner you put out there, and he got beat. He got beat the entire time. There's nothing you can do. I said this before. I don't think they have the personnel to play this defense. And that's on Eberflus for running this defense the way he is. He should have changed it in the season. He should have, or before the season, when he saw What do I have? What should I try to do? What should I not try and do? And then maybe when we get midway, I'll try to put a little bit of my stuff in there, but mostly keep what we have going. They're not doing that. No, every coach thinks they know more. They don't know. Even who's been doing this for a long time. And yet, somehow, they see what they have and they say, you know what? We don't have the personnel to run what I want to run. But instead of me changing, I'm going to make everyone else change. How does that make sense? And then you bring in coaches from his old coaching staff that doesn't work. How many times do we see a corner in the system who is off the receiver by 5 yards and it's 3rd down and 3? How many times do we see that? It's like every week we see it. Every week, almost on every single drive, we see it. They're off by, it's a 3rd and 3, and the corner is off by 5 yards. That receiver just turns around and says, throw the ball, throw it. And it's quick, boom, 1st down. That's it. Like clockwork. Like clockwork. It's embarrassing to watch this team on defense. It's embarrassing. You had 5 sacks. That is indeed true. But you don't have a solution. You can't stop the run. You're bad in coverage. You're giving up you probably should be giving up the most points in the league. You're atrocious. It's not getting better. It's getting worse every time we see it. Every single time. Fix it. Fix it. Or get somebody who can. When I tell you, at some point you got to make a decision on if we fire Matt Eberflus or not. I wish it's the trade deadline right now. I wish the Cowboys could trade defensive coordinators. I don't even care if we get a different defensive coordinator. Trade him for a bag of chips at this point. I do not care. It's so bad. You can't stop the run. You can't stop a pass. You can't really get pressure with your front four. You can't do anything. And when you can, it's one drive, and then down the field the team goes again. And you can't stop them. I'll close with this. The Cardinals were the only team in the NFL to not have a 70-plus yard drive that led to a touchdown. They had 2. They didn't have a 74-plus yard drive that led to a touchdown. They had 2 against you. And back to back. You could not stop them. That's embarrassing for this defense. I don't care who is the coach. You cannot say the same thing over and over again and it not pan out and no one take responsibility. And then you have Jerry Jones sitting there saying, well, we got great nuts and bolts of this team on defense. No, you don't. No, you don't. You can't. Your linebackers are terrible. Shamar James is young, so you'll buy your time with him. But your linebackers are terrible. You can't cover anybody. You can't rush the passer. You can't stop the run. You are not in good shape at all. There's an old saying that John McKay used to have. If you watch the NFL film stuff, this was a couple years ago when this was posted. But John McKay, famous head coach at UCLA, at USC, at USC, he won multiple national championships there with the Trojans, has a statue, everything. Goes to Tampa Bay, and he thought it was going to be so easy. And then there's a clip of him on mic when he was mic'd up and he said, we can't stop a pass or a run. Otherwise, we're in great shape. That's what this defense is. They can't stop a pass. They can't stop a run. Otherwise, we're in great shape. That's it. That's all you can do. That's what this defense is. And it is sad and embarrassing. Let me know who team won this week in the comments. And also, is it time that Matt Eberflus is fired. For NFL World, I'm Jacob Hebert.